I was a fan first, Pomp, as you and so many were.
Yes.
I grew up in central Pennsylvania. There, most of my buddies were Flyer fans. I didn't know much about hockey, but because I was such a fanatic about the city of Pittsburgh, I had my radio tuned in to, at the time, KDKA. The Penguins were on for a short time, and that's when I first heard his voice. I remember vividly the first day I met him, which was when you remember the old KDK AM rainbow machine.
Oh yeah.
the traveling unit that would show up in all types of places, and they were broadcasting live at the Igloo before a game, and before the game they had Mike in the rainbow machine talking about the upcoming game, and he came out, and there were a bunch of fans around, chilly night, and I just got a chance to shake his hand, and then later got the chance to know him, and traveling with him and Steve Blass on the fledgling cable network, KBL, and I happened to be a pre- and post-game show guy. The Pirates threw me into that mix, and I kidded with Steve, and I talked for a while last night after we got the news. Steve, you've heard him talk, Bob, about how when he got to the big leagues, he was educated at the University of Baseball by Bill Mazeroski and Bob Friend. They taught him the ropes. Well, for me, I went to the University of Nightlife and the Road at the university with Professors Blass and Lange. And it was way beyond broadcasting. And you know this, that there are less than maybe a handful of people in your life that you can talk to at any time of the day about any subject. It does not matter what it is. And talk to, in my case, Mike, about life's lessons. Again, people, the business. He set me up with our buddy Mike Burns, the very first guy. I didn't know anything about, a contract in the big leagues. I had to sign a major league contract as a broadcaster, and Mike took me under his wing, and I'm unbelievably fortunate. Of course, he gave me my very, very first break in the business, which I still shake my head and I get chills over, thinking that he was so selfless that he would give me an inning of Major League Baseball play-by-play when, nobody told him to do that.
I love that story, by the way. You got to give more details on that, because this is one of those, and this tells me that he knew you had special talents, and he was willing to throw you right into, the boiling water. Okay, Greg, go ahead. See what you can do, right? Tell that story.
He was very almost put off and discounted it and humble when I would bring it up. If asked about it in interviews or whatnot, or I'd see him and we'd be amongst people and I'd say that, and he'd go, no, I saw you. You would have done it anyway. No, that's not true. I was like the first kind of Dan Potash, if you will, in the business. Hannah Mears, Robbie and Smikowski, the pre and post game, they had never done that before. So I was doing pre and post game interviews and traveling with Mike and Steve. But Mike knew, of course, that my ultimate dream would have been to become a Major League Baseball broadcaster. And before I forget, I tell people this all the time, Pomp, a handful of people in your life that help you get to where you're going, and you were one of them. I'll never forget the phone call. You let me know about an opening at WFMJ in Youngstown, Ohio, and you said I should go for it, and you're on my list. So Mike, at one point that summer said something about, there's a doubleheader coming up in a couple of weeks, kid, and I'm not doing 18 innings, so you better be ready. And I thought, what the heck does he mean by that? I was well in tune with the team and the goings-on of Major League Baseball, so it wasn't as if I needed to be ultimately prepared. I was anyway. But maybe I boned up a little bit on the Pirates and the Mets doubleheader that was coming up in a few days, just in case. And I was kind of like a quasi-stage manager at the time as well. When I wasn't doing the pre- and post-game stuff, I was in the booth, kind of not hovering, but aware of what was going on. So if I saw, maybe Mike or Steve, the Pepsi was low, I'd run down to the press room and get him a brand new Pepsi and put it in, and make sure to sneak in on the right side. Don't go around my left side, kid. It's got to be the right side. The little quirky things of Mike. If he didn't understand an official score's call, for example, I would run down to the official score and find out exactly who was that error on, and I'd jot it down and sneak it in there to Mike. Not too much. I think just about right. And then one day, again, the Pirates are playing the Mets at Three River Stadium, and I'm standing there in the back of the booth, and of course the Mike and Steve are doing the game, so their backs are to me, and they're looking out at the field, and I'm in the back of the room, so I can't hear everything that they're saying, but it sounded like, Mike, at the end of the fifth inning, the Pirates lead the Mets 5-1, and when we come back, Greg Brown will take you through the sixth inning. I'm thinking, there's no way he just said that. And he stands up and he takes his headset off and lays it there on the counter, and he walks back, and he pats me on the back on his way out the door, and he says, "Go get him, kid." And I'm standing there kind of gobsmacked, like, what is going on here? And now I look over at Steve, and he is frantically, with the headset in one hand, waving me to the seat because they're coming back from the commercial. I sit down, I put the headset on, and come back from the commercial, and Steve says, "Well, as Mike said, take us through the sixth inning, here's Greg Brown." And there is that one inning of Major League Baseball play-by-play that I had now, and then I would use that, thanks to you, Pomp, to get the next gig on my way up to go to Youngstown as a weekend sports anchor. But yeah, I tell that story because Mike would later get his hand slapped. It was the only inning I did because the Pirates and KBL did not want me doing that. That wasn't the deal. I was to do a pre and post game, but Mike took that roll of the dice and didn't care that he'd get in trouble for it, and it was just an incredibly selfless act. And he's just so many stories about this guy.